Donald Trump has failed at a lot of things in his life, from state companies to airlines to phony schools, but this could be his biggest failure and it could kill 6 million Americans. Check it out, leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. But I wanted to start out, with a couple of stories that I think are, two stories that I think are radically undercovered. There's not anywhere near enough coverage for these two stories, and it's I find it frankly shocking. The Trump administration has not yet said it out loud that they're going for a herd immunity strategy. This is the first of those two stories. They have not said it out loud yet. But yesterday at his town hall on ABC with George Stephanopoulos, Trump was talking about herd mentality and how the virus will simply vanish when a certain threshold of people get infected. And that's called herd immunity. And it requires about 70% of the population to get the disease. And if 70% of the population gets the disease, and we have about a 3% death rate right now here in the United States, 70% of 340 million Americans is 200 and some odd million Americans. You take that number and multiply it times 3%, you end up with roughly 6 million people dying as the result or consequence, but it's like the intended result of a herd immunity strategy. You kill off the vulnerable and, only the strong are left standing, which is a phrase that I think probably sounds really good to people like Donald Trump and Bill Barr and Scott Atlas, although Donald Trump and Bill Barr, both being old and obese, would probably be among the first to die from this thing. Not that I'm wishing that on anybody. I wouldn't. I mean, we're learning that this virus, not only would we have 6 million dead Americans in the United States if we continue pursuing this policy. The Trump administration has stopped advising states. They've gotten control of the CDC, and they've stopped advising states to have mask mandates. No more masks. As Bill Barr said, that's the same as slavery. I mean, this is nuts. And by the way, it's not just the deaths. I mean, 6 million dead people, but, for every one death, you're going to have 2, 3, 5, 10 people. Who knows? I mean, we're just starting to figure out the statistics of people who are simply sick. The long haulers, there are people who literally have never recovered from COVID. We don't know what percentage it is. It's higher than the percentage of people who are dying. So it's more than 3%. But beyond that, we haven't yet been able to figure it out. There are some indicators here and there, but these are people who are just permanently disabled. They just haven't gotten over it. You've got people who are experiencing strokes and microstrokes and mini strokes. You've got people who are experiencing dementia from having had COVID. You've got, in the United Kingdom, they looked at a group of people who were fully recovered, and none of them had been so seriously sick that they needed to be intubated. A couple of them were hospitalized to give oxygen, but that was it. These were people with mild to moderate cases. And about 80% of them had heart damage. I mean, we have athletes, top-level athletes in the United States with heart damage now as a result of having had COVID. So, and that's just the beginning. I mean, this appears to damage the liver, the spleen, the kidneys, the eyes. I mean, it's just like it has the potential to damage any organ in the body. So with a herd immunity strategy, not only do you have 6 million dead, but you probably got 20, 30, 40 million permanently disabled Americans. Can you imagine just the cost of that? If suddenly 30 million Americans qualify for Social Security disability insurance? Oh, that's right. Trump's plan ends Social Security in 3 years. I forgot. He issued an executive order that says that do not deduct Social Security taxes any longer from people's paychecks. And he's putting it into place with our military. They're going to get a big bill in December if he doesn't get reelected. If he does get reelected, then he says he's just going to make it permanent, which means no more Social Security starting 3 years from now. Period. Goes to zero. So why would he do this? Is it that he just wants to destroy America? I mean, is he doing this because some foreign leader who hates this country told him to? Or is he doing it because, hey, if you want to play golf every day, or, 1 day out of 3. He's played golf more than 1 day out of 3 in his presidency. If you want to play golf every day and you want to watch 6 or 8 hours of Fox News every day, then the easiest way to run the country is not to do anything. And herd immunity means, hey, we don't have to do anything. And at the same time, you've got Republicans in the House and Senate who are like basically creating this, well, let's let 6 million people die caucus. By the way, when was the last time I heard the phrase, a policy that killed 6 million people? I mean, this is a Holocaust, or it will be if Trump has his way. And for some baffling reason, the media is largely ignoring this story. I mean, maybe it's because it's so hard to believe that the President of the United States would sit around with his scientific advisors, this Dr. Scott Atlas, this radiologist that he got from Fox News, and say, well, yeah, it's only 6 million dead people. There's a lot of people in this country who are old or who are out of shape or who have that pre-existing condition of dark skin. And, if they die off, what's the big deal? This is the guy who brought us a failed steak company, a failed vodka company, a failed airline, a failed school, several failed casinos, if you can even imagine that, and even a real estate empire that was failing so badly it had to be bailed out by foreign billionaires, by oligarchs from other countries. Donald Trump doesn't know how to run a business. It shouldn't surprise us that he doesn't know how to run a country, and his latest failure, tragically, is the United States of America. But running a bunch of companies into the ground doesn't kill 6 million people and disable 20 or 30 or 40 million. I mean, I got to say, Trump's new herd mentality strategy is for dealing with the coronavirus is beyond incompetent. It is, frankly, I think evil. I mean, this is nuts. And now we've got another case of an American. This was just published in The Guardian. Jessica Glenza. A man in Nevada was infected with COVID back in March. He recovered. He tested negative, and then he got reinfected. He got reinfected with a different strain of the virus. His original infection was the Asia strain. His reinfection was the Europe strain, which if this gets replicated, right now it's 1 case in America, 1 case in Hong Kong. If this gets replicated, then it means that the coronavirus is going to be like the common cold, which is to say you can't develop a vaccine for that, and you can't get immunity for that because it's constantly mutating, and then the immunity doesn't go to the mutations. That's why we've never been able, ever, and we've been working on this for 100 years, to create a virus against the coronavirus called the common cold.